Awesome sauce. Happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. Happy Monday of Thanksgiving week. If I haven't told you in a while, I'm thankful for you. Really am. I'm super grateful for you. I'm grateful for your energy. I'm grateful for the ripple effect that goes beyond just me. What's insane about what we do as a tribe is that I can only do so much. I can only attract and inspire and help so many people. And because of you guys and because your relentless pursuit of helping others live healthier, more fulfilling lives, we make more of an impact, a massive impact, and it ripples out. So never underestimate the power of what your one choice has done, and that choice duplicated day after day after day, what that can do for someone else, right? So just keep going. If this is something you needed to hear on a Monday, I hope that already hit you. A couple of announcements before we kick off, you guys. Tomorrow we have our final planning and prep call for the next month. There's only one more month left of 2021. So it's our December plan and prep call. December just has so much goodness in it, but we're also going to be kind of looking ahead at what do you want to do around that Christmas, New Year time to get people with you come 2022. So we're going to be kind of looking at December, of course, but also starting to get a game plan for the new year. And with this launch and everything, this is just such a perfect time to really game plan. How are you going to leverage that? What do your groups look like? How are you utilizing that? So that's tomorrow. And then we are having an action hour tomorrow night. So I'd love for you to hop on, get a glass of whatever you want to drink. I'm calling it happy hour tomorrow. I will bring the music. You bring the drinks. I'll bring a drink too, but also bring the energy. Let's have some fun and get some people into our Black Friday flash sale. That's my third announcement. Black Friday flash sale kicks off. It actually kicks off Thanksgiving night. And it goes all the way through Cyber Monday. This is an amazing opportunity to incentivize somebody to already get they can get a pack that's already on promo, or they can do a la carte items. If there's customers or coaches of yours, they're also welcome to come into this flash sale. Coaches, PCs, customers, anybody new coming into you, like this is the quadruple threat right here, right? The flash sale is not just for new blood, but the people who already are at your table, bring them in, get them to try something new, or get them to renew something they've run out of, right? And we incentivize this with raffles and giveaways, as well as some of the higher ticket items will require a gift card that you will give them as a thank you for saying yes at a time of year where a lot of people think they're too busy, right? But we're going to show them, because on Black Friday, we also have our annual Black Friday Bod-a-thon, Bod-e-a-thon, it could be called this year, which is, if you've never been a part of our tribe, during the holiday season, Black Friday, we always kick off a 2-hour choose your own adventure workout a la Bod. And this year we get to incorporate a la Bod-e. So you get to choose your own adventure. Hint, you probably want to put some stretching or yoga in there somewhere, mix it up, do a little cardio, do a little weights, but you do you, right? This is a chance for you to try workouts that maybe you've never tried before. There are like some autumn exclusives that I had never tried that always came around this time of year, like one called Kill Cupcake that was like, oh my gosh, like it's actually a really fun workout, and I never would have tried it because it's not really part of a program. There's maybe there's a program you've never done before, so pull a workout from that and give it a whirl. Maybe you didn't get to do the Job One Live today, the Body Live class today. Maybe you add that to your calendar for Friday, but start planning that out. Get a little note on your phone or start sketching it on a notepad and start to see how can you craft a 2-hour workout using our platform on Friday, and show people how do you like just move your body and sweat because you freaking love it, right? And because you love the trainers that are there. So that's Friday. But like I said, our job, I think, our biggest job this time of year is showing people that both can exist, right? It doesn't have to be health or holidays. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be, I eat dessert or I diet. It doesn't have to be like one or the other. There is this marriage of both. And what I'm so excited about with the launch of Job One is that we get to show people how it is possible with something that's quick and effective. So I am not going to talk anymore. I'm going to pass the mic over to my dear friend, Larissa. She's like, you're like honorary Inspire Beauty now, because you've spoken. This is now twice. After 3 times, I'm pretty much just going to let you run run team calls from now. But guys, she's back to pour into us tonight. I'm just so grateful she's a part of the test group. She's an elite coach. This girl knows what she's talking about, and she's just got energy like none other. So you guys give it up for Larissa.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna be totally real and transparent that I did not prepare anything. I was messaging Brittany earlier. I was like, do you want me to do slides? I'm like, because this is the first time I've ever been in a test group, ever. I've been a coach for 6.5 years, and I've never been in a test group because when I started in 2015, probably up until like through 2018, all the people who were like in test groups were like elite coaches or top coaches or coaches, you know, who had relationships with corporate, right? Like all the like higher up coaches. And I was like new and like building my business. And then around like I think it was in 2019 is when they shifted it to be like success starters are in the test group. And by that point, I was obviously way past success starter. And then I did start to hit those higher ranks where I was like, guys, I'm missing the window here. And I was so upset because I remember seeing all these coaches and I always wanted to be in a test group. And luckily they're starting to kind of blend a little bit more now, right? Like they have the success starters and then they chose 16 elite coaches from our region. And I was lucky enough to be one of them. And I'm so glad because I wanted to be in the 645 one so much. I wanted to be in the 640. We're going to talk about job one, I swear, but it ties into it. I wanted to be in the 645 test group so bad. And I like kissed butt to my corporate mentor. And I was like, please, 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 please. I love him, Wallace, so much. I have such a personal, close to home, it hits close to home for functional training for me because my husband, he's a veteran and he was injured and had 3 hip surgeries within a year. He couldn't walk for 9 months after his surgery, like all this kinds of stuff, right? So like mobility and functionality and like all that kind of stuff just gets really close to home for me now because of that. So I really wanted to be in the 645 test group because of that. Thank goodness I wasn't, because I ended up getting COVID in the middle of it, like in the middle of 645 and stuff. And also like 45-minute workouts are not my jam. And 13-week programs are not my jam. I'm gonna be totally like real upfront and honest. Like I've been a coach for 6.5 years and I've never completed 80-day obsession. I just like can't freaking do it. Mostly because they came out when I was like toddler mom. Like that was not a season of life for me. I will finish it one day. I will finish 645 one day, probably now that my kids are in school, right? But everything happens for a reason, because something I did not know about job one, and this is kind of what I was talking to Brittany about earlier, is I had no idea Jennifer Jacobs is a functional strength trainer. She's just like Imwala in terms of her like philosophy and like her focus and her goals and how she wants to train people, right? I feel like, did anybody do 645? Raise your hand. Yes, yeah, lots of people. Even if you didn't, we all kind of know what 645 was for, right? It's about performance. It's about making sure your form is right, making sure like you're training your body for life, not just for muscles, right? I didn't know job one is like that. And that's something I really just wanted to start to kick off this. I mean, I probably could have said it later, but I wanted to kick off with that because that's something I don't think is being talked about very much. The only reason, and a lot shorter, the only reason I know it is because I've done it and I've been on like calls with Jennifer and stuff like that. And like, I was on a call with her. She did an 1.5 hour long call for us in the test group the other day where she led us through an active recovery workout and then stayed on for an hour and we all just talked and like people shared their stories and she shared like her biggest focus and her biggest goal with helping people live like happy, healthy, fulfilling lives, right? And that's to train you for life. So I just want to start with that of like, if you feel like you're struggling with something to get excited about in this program with job one, besides the fact that it's 4 weeks and only 20 minutes a day, which like is my jam, like Transform 20 is my soulmate program. Every time I'm having like a hard time in life or need a short program, I go to Transform 20. But why I think I kind of love job one a little more is because it has weights and it's just so much more variety, right? Like with Transform 20, you feel like you're kind of doing the same thing every day, right? Like essentially, because you got the step, you're moving, it's different moves. But with job one, you never repeat a workout. You never repeat a move at all. I can't even tell you what moves I did in week one. And I just finished week 4. So I just finished the program. I can't even tell you what moves I did in week 1 because it's oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, it's going to be so amazing. I am not the kind of person who wants to redo a program. I'm never the kind of person who wakes up excited to see what move I'm gonna do. But with job one, I cannot wait to start it over because I get really bored really easily. I really don't repeat programs much. This is why I also struggle with launches because I always want to do at least 2 or 3 rounds, right? Go through with coaches and go through with customers. And that can be really hard with programs like 9 Week Control Freak, right? Because that's what, 18 weeks of your life or 80-day obsession, that's 3 months. Or Morning Meltdown 100, it took me 6 months to do Morning Meltdown 100 because I was in the middle of moving states. And I will turn on a workout here and there, but I will never do that full program again. And there's purposes and there's pieces for those programs for everybody in a certain season of life. But what's so different about job one and what's so incredible about it is it can be literally for anybody. Do you guys remember when 9 Week Control Freak came out? And they were like 18-minute Tabata cardio. And we turned it on and it's like 26 minutes. And we're like, that's not right. And we're all on our Instagram stories. And we're like, I'm gonna do 18 minutes. And then we're all like, why is this 26 minutes? Because it's 18 minutes of work and there's a cool down and there's a warm up. And like, I don't know if any of you guys are in the round table, which is like what you get into when you're 5-star and above, but we all like lost it. We were like, you can't tell a mom who has 30 minutes that her workout's 18 minutes and she turns it on and it's 27. Like, you can't do that. So they ended up changing it on the thing and we had to like put our foot in our mouth. But the thing with job one is it's literally 20 minutes. I think the runtime is actually like 19 minutes and like 17 seconds, or I don't know if I've ever actually seen it say 20, like in the terms, like maybe it's 20 with like the whole job one intro that comes in for like 12 seconds, you know? But it's literally 20 minutes start to finish and she kicks your butt. Has anybody done the, oh, by the way, I didn't put this, I'm so sorry. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. Like I said, I have no plan. I'm just kind of talking to you about the program. So if I'm like not answering something you're wondering, please put it in the chat. And at the end too, we can open it up. I'm just so fired up about this because of how it's going to help people. I wish I had this when my kids were littler. And Jennifer, she talks a lot about that. She talks a lot about, she has 2 kids and she wishes there was a program like this when she had her kids, where it was 20 minutes and she could actually see results and it would actually help her life. My kids are, God, how old are my kids? Almost 8 and 5. So they're not as small. So we don't have nap time. Like they go to school now and stuff. But if I had this when they were little, oh my gosh. And whether you have kids or not, a lot of people do. And this is what they need. Okay. First off though, has everybody done the sample, at least one of the samples, whether it was the body one or the free sample on Vimeo? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Actually, that kind of rolls into what I want to say about this weekly layout. Okay, tell us about the weekly layout and then also how the spin classes are incorporated or not. Perfect. Okay, so one thing I want to say about the sample workout when it comes to the accuracy of what the workouts are like in job one is all the moves that you did in the sample, you do at some point in the program. The biggest difference though, if you guys remember from the sample, is you know how you start with weights and then you like jump over to the bands and then you're like doing cardio. Those are 3 different kind of days in the program. So if you felt a little scattered of like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and that, kind of like a 9-Week Control Freak, you know how you're like running around trying to chase whatever the heck you're using. It's not like that in job one. In job one, here's the layout. So it's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Obviously, if something comes up or something happens, you can move the days to like, you know, get it done on Saturday. I had to do that in week 4. I was really sick on Tuesday, so I let my body rest and I finished on Saturday instead of Friday. So the weekly layout is strength, cardio, strength, cardio, strength, which is awesome. And Jennifer talks a lot about how that's really the ideal way of training, to where you don't have too much strength, you don't have too much cardio. And this girl knows what she's talking about. Like, she's not just trying to get you abs. She's not just trying to get you gains. She will, but she knows like the science behind her programming so much. Her first initial test group that went through the program, she actually changed it, like not the coach test group, but like in creation of the program, she actually changed it after their first round because she didn't like it and completely revamped it. So like, this is like, we are getting something so incredible. So Monday is strength, and that is weights. I didn't know this, but she said to lift, you want to lift kind of your heaviest on Mondays. It's nothing too heavy, but it's strength moves. And then Tuesdays are a cardio day. It's a HIIT session, 20 minutes. She kicks your butt, and your rest time between like rounds decreases every round. So that's a lot of fun. On the first day, I thought it was too easy. I was like, oh God, this makes me nervous. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. It's too easy. And it flies by in 20 minutes. I'm gonna need something more. And then I showed up on Tuesday and got my butt handed to me. So if you show up to day one and you're like, I don't know, just stick with it, okay? Wednesdays are by far my favorite days. They're called build and burn, or burn and build, one of those. And that is the day you bring in the loops, okay? So you're either doing a loop workout or you're doing loops and dumbbells combined. If you guys go check out my social media, I posted on Thursday the week 4 with the loops. Oh my gosh, the moves you do with them on week 4 is so much fun. But that's my favorite day. I literally wake up on Wednesday so excited to work out because I just like, what are we gonna do with the bands today, Jennifer? I don't know. It's so much fun. So that's your second strength day of the week. And then what else? Thursday? No, yes, Thursday. Thursday is another cardio day. That is called 20-minute sweat. She kicks your butt again. And it's just her, by the way. In the cast, it's just like the sample where it's literally just her. So I think that really does tie into the 20 minutes because I honestly think that you're getting just amount of work done in a 40-minute workout typically because there's the chatter, because there's the talking, because there's the showing you the moves. And she does show you the moves, but it's very focused on you. It's very, this is what we're doing. She shows it to you, you get it, and you do it, you know? So Thursday is the 20-minute sweat. And then Friday is your last strength day, and that's called Finish Stronger. And then you just use the weights for that one as well. Now with the cycling, the bike is not required, but it is an option. You can do the mixed bike, obviously, or any sort of stationary bike. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are the 2 cardio days, she has 4 cycling rides that you could swap out for any of those days. So I've only done one of them because I wanted to try all the workouts first. And they kill. I will say the one I did, it was called Hit and Hills. And she's a machine. I don't know how she talks and does all of these things. Like it's crazy. But you can swap those out on any of the cardio days if you want to. How about a modifier? Does she address this? So she does modify the moves. She tells you kind of a modification. I will say, just because I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, we asked if they could maybe put up a screen, like, you know, in Let's Get Up, how they had a cameo, maybe put up like a screen for the modifier. Cause she does tell you how to modify the moves, but sometimes it's like after you already start the move a little bit. Her moves are very functional. So it's nothing like too crazy intense. Especially if you did go through 645 or if this isn't your first program, you'll know how to modify the moves because they are pretty basic. You know, things like lighten your weights or don't jump, go on your toes. I will say the 2 cardio days are pretty high impact. You can obviously modify how you'd like slow down your mountain climbers, go on your toes instead of jumping. But that's also why there's the bike option because the bike option is still just as intense, just lower impact. So she does tell you how to modify. And the way she puts it is she says, I do show modifications when modifications are needed. Like she'll talk about like if it's something with a squat, she's like, you just don't go as low and you just don't, you know, lower your weights or things like that, you know? So she does talk about the modifications in there though. Do you think you'd want to double up cardio or is that overkill? Okay, so what do you mean by double up cardio? Like add cardio to the day or do like her cardio and the bike? Okay, like in the same day? You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it, trust me. Did anybody, when you started the sample and like maybe like the first 5 or 6 minutes, you're like, okay, all right. And then at the end of it, you're like dying. That's cardio the whole time. Like that cardio block you did in the sample, you get 20 minutes of that. Like you don't need it. And I will be the first to say like, okay. She's coming out with these workouts. We didn't have access to these yet, but they're called overtime. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably be like 10 minutes because I feel like that's what we do. We do 10-minute bonuses. So there will be some like additional ones for like, I know for me, like if there's a day where I just need to like mentally work out, I don't know if 20 minutes will do it. Like I just for my mental health, I might need a little more. Then maybe I jump on the bike or just do a 10-minute overtime workout. And when I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for round 2 because I'm gonna be doing overtime workouts all the time. Like 20 minutes isn't enough, but like There's something that happens around week 3. I don't know what it is, but then all of a sudden, like, you start to see all these results. You feel so much stronger. You realize like you really don't need 20 minutes or more than those 20 minutes a day because she's so smart with her programming. So what Jennifer really wants to do is she kind of wants to retrain our brains a little bit and making us realize and making other people realize too that like more isn't always better, you know? And that sometimes too much cardio or too much of working out the same muscles or not having programming can actually bring more harm than good, not just to your results, but our health. It can raise our cortisol levels. It can make us bring on stress. And if you're bringing on more stress, you're bringing on weight gain and things like that. So her whole motto is train less, gain more. And I think it's really good. I think it's gonna be really hard for some of us who are used to 45-minute workouts or feel like we need to work out for 45 minutes to see the results. But if I could tell you this, but also have you relay this to your groups, your teams, your challenge groups, all of that stuff, is treat it like a test group. Treat it like your own test group. Go into it with a completely open mind of not necessarily knowing what it's going to be like, but you're going to come out of it having experienced it all fully. And you know what? If you go through the whole first round, because it's only 4 weeks, guys, if you start December 6th, which is when I'm starting with my team, we're done December 31st. How perfect is that? Like, if that's not meant to be, I don't know what is. But do that. And if you want to tweak something for your second round, tweak it. But that's because you went through it 100%. Okay. What does she suggest for Saturday and Sunday? I know some programs like Lift 4 suggest using the time for something else like running. Does she suggest 2 full rest days? So she will have, we didn't have access to these. I really wish that we did. She will have some active recovery videos. And I think they're 20 minutes, to be honest. I don't know that for sure, but she did lead us. I honestly, guys, I didn't know the whole functional training focus until Saturday when I got on that Zoom with her and she led us through a 20-minute active recovery day. And it's exactly like range and repair with Mwala. It's exactly like mobility day. It's very much like dynamic recovery from MDF. It's very like mobility, slow, intentional movement. And I asked her, I said, is this like is this what it's going to be like in job 1 for your recovery days? And she said, yes. And I think there's 4 different kinds of recovery add-ons. So you could do that. She said, if you want to, you could add on a cycle ride on the weekend. She said, what'd you say? Somebody asked about running. Somebody said, like, would you suggest not running? She's like, if running's something you love to do, she's like, why would I tell you not to do that? She's like, I wouldn't necessarily train for like a marathon while you're doing job 1, like don't go overboard. But if you just want to go run because you love to run, go for it. But there will be some active recovery days and things in there, which I think is really good. And I think that's a beautiful place where body comes in too, right? Like a yoga flow or something like that. I don't know what else to say though. Somebody asked me more questions. Oh, and nutrition. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Britt. Okay. So nutrition. Obviously, guys, I drink my Shakeology every day, right? I use collagen. I use Recover. I actually started using Recover more in this program than before because Jennifer talks about it so much. And I'm not sure if that had something to do with my results, but I love them. So I'm going to keep doing that. But she talks a lot about Recover. So I use Recover. Did I say I use collagen? I use collagen. I follow Portion Fix, but I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. I'm not like 100% with following, like not following my containers, but just making sure I was eating enough. I personally struggle with not eating enough. I could go all day without eating. And it could be 5 o'clock and I'd like feel like I'm going to pass out. So I focused a lot on bigger breakfasts in the mornings. And Jennifer talks a lot about prioritizing protein. And it's so funny because she said that in the beginning. And I find myself, you guys come out in 2B mindset, something so simple. Water first, veggies most. And then every time you go to have food, you're like, water first, veggies most. Jennifer's been saying prioritize protein. And every time I go to have food and I go to make up my choices, I kind of incorporate veggies most, prioritize protein together. And I've noticed myself making sure I get in more of my red containers. So I've been following Portion Fix. I'm in bracket C because I like to try to maintain, because I'm all about the booty gains. If anybody does not know me, that's all I care about really. But I feel so much better. I've been using ultimate portion fix or portion fix. But also, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I still had a couple drinks here and there. I wasn't super restrictive. I wasn't like, I remember with 80 Day Obsession, like, don't get me wrong, the results were like mind blowing, but everybody was obsessed for 80 days. So I think, to be completely honest, I think it depends on what your goals are in terms of your dialed in with nutrition. Follow a nutrition program. More than anything, make sure you're eating enough, right? Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Start it right now. Start making sure, whether you do Chewy Mindset or portion fix, make sure that you're eating enough. Make sure you're eating more veggies and protein than your carbs, but still don't avoid carbs, because we need carbs for energy. We need carbs for muscle growth as well, right? Hold on, sorry. I lost my spot here. Are the core moves the sample standing up instead of laying down? There is a lot of standing up core moves. There are a couple of days, like there's one Wednesday where it's just bands, no dumbbells at all. And there's like one block of 3 moves where it's kind of on the floor, but I do believe it honestly could really easily be modified standing up if it needed to be. So there's not a lot on the floor. There's a couple moves where you're like on all fours, right? Those aren't the core moves, but there's a couple moves where you're on all fours. But there's not a lot of on the floor core moves. It's a lot of standing and like dynamic movement, a lot of like twists and stuff standing up. Did she recommend one nutrition plan over the other? No, she said to just choose whichever it works for you. And then she talked a lot about prioritizing protein. And if you guys don't yet, go follow her on Instagram. I'm not really big on following the trainers, but she just like teaches all the time. Like, she's constantly talking about things, and she's constantly going live and talking about like recipes or what she's making for dinner or things like that. And I found that really helped me going through the test group. And then obviously, you know, if you follow Chewy Mindset, go follow Ilana. If you follow Portion Fix, go follow Autumn and the Portion Fix program. But that can be really help. I think it's really helpful just to, you know how we keep doing personal development to keep positivity in our brain. I think it's important to surround yourself with the people who are sharing those things, to keep reminding you to make those like choices or get new ideas or make you excited about meal prepping or make you excited about trying new nutrition meals and stuff like that. What the results were like from the test group. Oh my gosh, you guys, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna give you personal results, like internal results, as well as physical. Hold on.
Larissa, while you're finding that,
yes.
I shared I stole your day 12 side by side that you posted on Facebook. And that's what I shared with the team to remind them about call tonight. But you had they didn't see this post. I saw it. And I remember it was day 12. And you talked in that post about your personal, like how you feel about side by sides and that they're really not your thing, because usually, can you talk about that a little bit so that they can understand your heart behind that, where it's not like you don't just suck in, you know what I mean?
Was it my stories? Was it on my stories, I think?
It might have been, yeah.
Okay, then I think I know what you're talking about. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I started Beachbody underweight. I was really offended when my coach invited me because I was 1 year postpartum. I was breastfeeding. My husband was deployed. I worked with her. I worked at a restaurant, and I was 110 pounds, 21. Did not love my body, was not confident. I felt like I had a muffin top. I Googled Pinterest muffin top workouts all the time. I literally think I still have them on my phone, probably on my Pinterest board. But everyone always told me like I looked so good because I was a size 0, right? But I felt skinny fat is what I would call it. But anyway, I got started because I wanted to feel better. But what I'm saying is I started with Beachbody underweight. So my story is actually gaining healthy weight. My story is building muscle for the first time in my life. And then I did get pregnant and have another postpartum journey where I did lose weight. But what's funny is now my daughter's 5. I weigh 5 pounds more now than I did when I came home from the hospital with my second daughter, with like full boobs of milk. And that's why I'm so like about the scale. But when it comes to side-by-side photos, whenever I see people, not necessarily in Beachbody, but just like on Instagram or Facebook or things like that, or like other health and fitness things that post side by side and things like that. Can you tell when someone's like flexing or like they're standing completely different and their butt's like this? And don't get me wrong, on the scroll by, it's amazing. It's great. Like that progress. I don't love transformation photos from like a 3 or 4 week period. It actually stresses me out a little bit because I'm more about the entire transformation. So something I shared with my audience, and I think this is what Brittany's talking about, is I I think I get nervous, and this is probably a self-limiting belief and a fear that people will think I am faking my progress photos because it's 4 weeks, right? Or, oh, well, you're blowing it out, and then like you just don't blow it out, and that looks the same. Because in 3 to 4 weeks, your results might not be the most drastic thing. So people might be thinking it's like fake or whatever, right? So my whole thing is I shared with my audience, and I talk about this a lot, of anytime I take progress photos, I always try to be consistent, especially for a program. I always try to be consistent with the way that I take them. Same outfit, same lighting. My shorts aren't higher or shorter, just to make it look better. If I'm doing if I'm flexing one of the pictures, I'm flexing in both the pictures. If I'm not, if I'm like a relaxed belly in both the pictures, I have a relaxed belly in both the pictures. And sometimes I will do that. Sometimes I will do flexed versus flexed, and I talk about it. And I love doing that in the beginning when I take my day one, like I'll take like a flex picture, and then I love seeing how much more defined it is in the after one. But I think it's helpful to be transparent with your audience of like how you felt and your whole like stand on those things. And I don't know, I'm like rambling, but I'm not a huge fan of like the 3 to 4 week time, because there's like a lot of things, right? Like you're just in the beginning of it. So you guys don't have to do 2 to 3 rounds of job one, but I think that you should, because that's where the real results are really going to come in. And again, it's not just physical from this program. I'm going to tell you guys some of the things I heard on Saturday. Okay. And this is another thing too, is I actually haven't taken my final after photos because I started my period yesterday. And like, that's also not fair to me for me to take my after photos when my uterus is on fire. So I was like, I'm going to say that. And I'm like, this isn't from the last day. I'm like, it's after my uterus wasn't on fire. Okay. So hold on, some things that we were on the call the other day that some ladies were sharing. And I was like a ball of freaking tears that we're sharing with Jennifer. And these are just a couple that I wrote down, but we'll talk about the physical results. But some things, the biggest thing people were saying in the test group of how this affected them is one girl, she's a teacher. And I think she works with special education students. And she said she only has a 30-minute lunch break, and she has to commute really far for work. So like her work day is really, really long. And she said she's never been able to work out during her day at school because the workouts are always so long. So she took that 20 minutes and actually was able to do it in her lunch break at work, and still be able to not get all red faced and sweaty and then go back to teach her kids. And she would say that the last half of her day was so much better than the first half because she got that workout in. Right? Like how many of you guys ever feel like in the middle of the day, you just need that endorphin release and like you can't go get it? With this, people can, and you can. Another one was there was a mom, and she actually, everything happens for a reason. She got into the Let's Get Up test group, but she was pregnant at the time, so she couldn't do it. So they invited her to the job one, which I think is really great. But she's a mom of 5 under 5 with 2 sets of twins, and her twins are 6 months old. And she crushed job one. She did so amazing and just talked about how this is exactly what she needed. And it changed her mindset so much. That's what I said. I literally put in the chat. I was like, you are a superhero. Another one was, oh my gosh, this woman, I don't remember her name, started with an I, but she was from Brazil. And she was crying before she even started talking. And she has like broken English, and she was like apologizing for her English not being great. And she has fibromyalgia. And she said that she loves Beachbody. She's been a Beachbody coach for like a year, but she's never been able to finish a program ever. She's like, I've tried everything. She's like, I do it, I try, I just can never get through a full program. She's like, sometimes I can't even get through the full workout. She said how she was excited for 645, but she just physically couldn't do it. But this was the first program she was actually able to do and finish. I was ball of tears. And she said it completely changed her life. And she said her aches and her pains are so much better, and it helps with her flare-ups. And she said some moves she does have to modify because I think like her shoulders are where it's really bad. But she just, oh my gosh, it was so emotional. Another one, she was 60. And she used to be a bodybuilder back in the day, which I thought was cool. And guys, these are all newer coaches too. Remember, all these are success starters. So they've been to coaches like a year, if that. She's 60. She loved the focus on mobility and functionality. My mom and mother-in-law have never completed a program, and they're doing 645 right now, and they're loving it because of that same focus. So if you have ever had anybody who was like all about that, but couldn't do the time, this is the program for that. So everyone talked about like just their improvement in their mobility. People talked about how like they have really bad back pain or really bad hip pain, and they haven't had any of that pain since doing job one. And that's without the active recovery days, right? Another one talked about how, oh, I loved this phrase. You guys ready to, it's not me. She said this, but she talked about how right before the test group started, she was older. I think she's like 45. She said that her and her brother had to put their mom in a home. And she was like crying, and she has like kids, like she's like a 2-year-old. And she was saying that this 20 minutes was her pocket of peace to be able to deal with all of that. And she said if it wasn't for this program specifically, she doesn't know if she would have been able to make it through the last month. Like, what? Like, guys, these are the things, like, people buy and people sign up and people join you because of, like, we, like, as women especially, we buy because of emotion, right? These are the things that people need. Do people need to lose weight? Yeah. Do people want to feel more confident? Absolutely. Right? Do they want the results? Do they want the side by side? Yeah. But like, how is this going to change their life? Right? Have them thinking past the 4 weeks. And I think that was it. I think that was all the ones I wrote down. But the results actually physically coming in are also amazing. I personally, the first 2 weeks, like I said, guys, I'm all about the booty gains. The first 2 weeks, I was really nervous I was going to lose my butt. And then week 3 came along and I was like, oh, okay, she does know what she's doing. Cool, cool, cool. Week 3 is when I started feeling like super strong. I don't know what it was. But I'm not even seeing the chat, guys. I'm so sorry. But we will start having more as a network results coming in from the test group because we just finished this week. So keep a lookout. Go check out those pages like Boss Babes Mastermind or Coach Collab and things like that, where people are starting to share the results. And I'm sure we will get some out as a network in total too once they start coming in. But you know, maybe some people are on their period and can't take their after photo yet. It happens. Okay. Superwoman keys, yes. I have coaches who have never finished programs start to end. This is for them. Yeah. Like, think about the people, and maybe this is you, who has just like not really been all in it lately, or just kind of bouncing around. Like, I know I have some coaches like that who just like kind of bouncing around, not really finding anything. Oh, hi, Cheyenne. Cheyenne was in the test group. I didn't even see you on here, girlfriend. It's my girl, Cheyenne. Cheyenne, is there anything you want to say about the test group? Is that okay, Brittany? Anything you want to say about Job 1? Share your experience. She hates me right now. No, maybe not. The kids are all there. Nope, hold on. You're muted, my friend. No. I won't unmute. It's okay. But Cheyenne was one of my success starters. Hi, Joel. Cheyenne was one of my success starters, and she was in the test group with me too. And Cheyenne's a lot like me, where she didn't have weight to lose either. But did you like it? A nod? Yes? Yeah. Cheyenne's a mom of 2 kids, and she homeschools them, so she's also a saint. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else, guys? Yeah, it was super fun to do together, my first test group.
One question I asked that might have got lost in the shuffle is about, can you talk about, we've got some expecting mamas on the call right now and on our team. Can you talk about, were there any pregnant women in the test? Well, I don't know if Beachbody allows pregnant women in test groups or not, but were there? And then postpartum too, can you talk us through like what that would look like? So if we're talking to any of our clients or coaches about this, we have the knowledge base.
Yeah, for sure. So there were some pregnant women in the test group. I know one, I think she was like maybe like 5 or 6 months. We might have had one more that was a little later on. So there were pregnant women in the test group. And I heard Jennifer actually say on a call recently too, she said like they, like, of course, check with your doctor, all the same kind of things. But again, because there is such a functional focus, it can be really good for them. Just modify where needed. Right? Like maybe just like, don't go as fast on the burpees and, you know, the things like that. Something like as just like a coach tip of what I've done in the past, and I need to do it again because they're like 5 years old, is I actually just created, because you know how we talked about how there's not like an actual modifier, but she mentions the modified moves, is I made like a video of like some of the basic workout moves. And this would be really good for pregnant or postpartum women, is like, you know, modifying a burpee, or if you need to modify this, that, and just like a quick video showing those mods, so that if they do need them, because how many people, especially if they're just getting started, my mother-in-law even does this, where they see a move, and my mom does this, they see a move and they're like, oh, I can't do that. So they just sit it out. Right. And I'm like, no, you just do, like, you can't do a push-up, like go on a wall, you know, like push up on a wall. That's okay. Or don't be afraid to drop your knee. right? So like take 5 minutes, guys, make a video like that and like have that in your arsenal to give your people, because that's just going to help them. So modifying, same thing with postpartum. Obviously, once they're cleared, I'd probably still have people do a couple days of postnatal bar, honestly, more for the mindset, because the things that Elise says in the postnatal bar, if you guys have not listened, is just like so life-giving. Like it's just so, it's the mindset, right? Like that's what she's good at. So I'd probably have them do that for a couple days or a week, but definitely, I mean, take it slower, modify the jumps. If they have a bike, cycling, oh my God. Oh wait, no, that's a bike. Never mind. One of my girls, she's like 37 weeks pregnant and she's been cycling on the bike like a crazy person. So maybe they sub out the cardio days for the bike if they have a bike, if they're pregnant. I don't know how she does it. She's literally like out to here. But yeah, so it definitely could be just modify where they need to be. But yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Talk about, and if I think if there's no other questions, you guys, what I'd love for her to transition with to wrap us up is we had chatted a little earlier today about maybe sprinkling a little bit of launch strategy their way. Especially this morning on the National Wake Up Call, we got some good nuggets for launch strategy to start, but I'd love to hear what you've got up your sleeve and what you'd recommend.
Yes, for sure. So like Brittany said, the National Wake Up Call today with Kate was really, really, really good. I think it was like 20 minutes in until she actually came on. So if you feel like you don't have a ton of the time, scroll on to 20 minutes because that's when Kate comes on and talks a lot about it. So definitely check that out. It's good for any launch, honestly, but she talks a lot about job one. But I think the first thing is knowing it's not too early or too late to start. I have people tell me both. Like I have coaches who are telling me, oh, like I think it's too early because it doesn't launch till like December. But when would you normally start inviting to your December group? Right now, right? Yeah. So it's not too early, but also some people are telling me, oh, well, I just feel behind because obviously we've all been talking about job one for weeks, but you're not too late. Like we have not even started. I cannot tell you guys how many things in my business, rank, goals, launches, things like that, that like I'm literally at the last minute before I decide to go all in. And it still works out because of my energy. So your energy is the biggest thing. So one, find out what makes you the most excited about this program. Okay. What is it that you are excited about? Is it the time? Do you really love Jennifer? Do you love the functional strength focus? Do you love how it's not boring and you'd never do a move twice? Do you love how it's 4 weeks? Do you like, what is it that makes you excited about it personally? But then also go brain dump some things about like why other people might like it, right? Like maybe it's not your jam, but maybe like who needs it, right? Just sit down and brain dump or type out like who needs this program and think about that. And the more excited you get about that, the more that energy is going to flow and you're going to help people with it. And do not stop talking about it. Do not stop talking about the dates. Do not stop talking about when you're starting it. Do not stop talking about how excited you are about it. And like I said, treat it like a test group. That is why they give us the 2 weeks coach launch before the customer launch on the 16th, is so that you actually get to try it out first. Like I said, guys, I'm very transparent with my people of where I talked about the side-by-sides. I'm also very transparent in telling people like, I don't feel confident yet telling you what I think about this program because I haven't done it yet. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Talk about what you're excited about when trying it and starting it. Don't just blow like steam out your butt talking about how absolutely incredible it is. Talk about what you're excited to experience by starting it and about how you can't wait to try it out and come back and like talk to them about it. And guess what, guys? 4 days in, that's all you need. Maybe not even that. On day 3, I was obsessed. And on day 3, that's when you can start talking to your audience. And guess what? The customer launch hasn't even happened yet by then, right? So treat that 2 weeks like a test group. You also don't have to wait till December 16th to sign people up, right? Sign people up to do this with you. I think a really big place a lot of coaches trip is they feel like they always have to come from a coach standpoint of join me, let me help you, which is yes, but with launches and things like this, it's join me, let's do this together and see what this is all about, right? We're putting ourselves back in that day one, which I think is a beautiful thing, right? It's such a beautiful thing. So you're inviting people to do it with you and experience it with you and literally like call it a test group and sign people up as PCs, sign them up as coaches. Something I was actually talking to Cheyenne about today because Cheyenne, I think, signed up like 4 preferred customers this week. I think 4. I think she signed up 4 preferred customers this week. And she said something about how, like, if she signed up as a preferred customer, she doesn't think she ever would have started coaching. But I was telling her today about how when my preferred customers I have signed up right now who are wanting to do job 1 with me, I'm planting the seed. I'm messaging them and I'm sending them a voice message because they're excited with me, right? Like they can't wait to buy it on December 2nd. And I'm like, just throwing this out there. Like if you do have any friends or family who want to do this with you and want to be a part of this test group with you, you don't have to coach them. I will add them into all the groups, but we can get you upgraded to a coach for free, really easily. I can help you set them up and you get a commission. And then I say, but if not, if you do still bring them in and you don't want to do the coach part, I'll give like a referral reward of like a $20 Amazon gift card, right? Because it's like half my commission, they're helping someone, right? I'm planting that seed and it changes the way they kind of look at the program a little bit. And that's how you can help build coaches out of it. Because guess what? Even if it's 3 months down the road, even if it's 2 programs later, and they are loving it and they said no and they stayed a preferred customer, you planted the seed. And now they know that you believe in them and you think they're capable of it and you know they're capable of it and that you'll help them if they have people to help, right? So plant that seed. Yeah, for anyone who watched that KK training back in August, was it August? October. No, it was October. Referrals. Yeah, I've started getting more into that. I'm not a professional at it by any means, but that's kind of the avenue I'm taking with it. What else am I doing for launch? Let's think. My plan for my team is we're starting December 6th and then round 2 on January 3rd. Another thing I'm doing, and this is just what I'm doing, is I usually like to run a program specific group for launches, but for the coach launch, I'm actually integrating all my job 1 people into my like end of the year boot camp because I'm going to try looking at that as almost like everyone who's doing this test group with me is also going to be sharing about it and build that FOMO for people to do it with us in January. And then in January is when I'm going to do the job 1 specific group. So really, honestly, treating it like a test group, because with me being in the test group, I'm sharing about job 1 in my regular group. And that's why I have so many people in my groups who want to do it, right? So really treating it like that and getting those people in there. Make sure you've done the sample if you haven't. Make sure you do this body sample that was tonight if you haven't, because I did it and it was so good. You do not need any bands for that one. Make sure you were immersing yourself in all things job 1. There's so many programs, you guys, like 2B Mindset was one of them, where I was like, oh, like, that's not for me. That's really cool for other people. I'm sure that'll be like great for other people. I'm like, but that's not really me. I'm not going to push that. I'm not going to promote that, all that stuff. And then I started getting on the calls with Ilana or watching the recordings of the calls with Ilana, learning more about the program like this. You guys are here right now doing that. Great job. And then I started to see how this could really help people. And then it stopped being, oh, this isn't for me. And it started being, oh my gosh, I want to help the people who need this, right? And that's what we get to do as coaches. So does that help a little bit with launch stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow is our plan and prep call. So I want all of our wheels to be turning for how we're incorporating that. And I think it's genius. I love the timeline of this program, that it's 4 weeks, because when in the past, when the New Year program launches, yeah, we get access in December, but usually we sit on that access because you can't really finish the program before you really want to have your New Year's rush. The stars have freaking aligned for us this year in the most beautiful way, that we get to start it on the 6th. We're literally going to share a transformation photo on December 31st, y'all.
Yeah.
Right? Who does that? We do.
We do.
We do. Hello. Like, exactly. And I think you're so spot on that you've got to figure out those pain points. We've been talking a lot about social media on our team this month in our Monday trainings. And I think content wise, there's just so much here in terms of combating that objection about being too busy to take care of yourself this time of year. And we get to be the ones that show everybody that it can be both. So I love that.
Yeah. One thing too that I've come to realize and I've started sharing about is, honestly, my people, customers or coaches who get started in the last quarter of the year on their personal journey, like I'm not even talking business, I'm talking like with a workout program, with a group, whatever it is, those are the ones who are the most consistent and who actually stick to it. And I think it's because they get started in the hard. Like that's how it was for me. Is I started when my husband was deployed and I was working full time with a baby. And because I overcame that, like there isn't anything I can't do, you know? So start talking about that. Start talking about like if you get started in the holidays and you stay consistent through the holidays, like I'm not saying don't eat the pie, I'm not saying don't drink the wine, but like just focus on actions and habits and showing up. Like baby steps still are steps, right? And if you do that and you feel better and see results and don't feel like a stuffed pie at the end of the holidays, like there's nothing you can't do, you know? So I think there's just such power in that. And exactly like what you said, Brittany, is it was really funny. I was coming back from my team retreat in October and I was on the plane coming home, starting to think about job one because I was starting the test group the next day. And I was thinking dates and immediately I was like, okay, what's the first Monday in January? And then I looked at the calendar and I was like, hold up. And I was like, there's a full 4 weeks that we have this program and it's 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Like that's not a program I skip over the holidays. That is a program for the holidays, right? So just focus on that. And then, like I said, treat it like a test group and it's going to be amazing, you guys.
So pumped. And I've got so many notes because you really just helped us also learn all the things about job one that maybe we didn't know. Thank you for the rundown of how the workout calendar it lines up. This just gives us so much more insight when we are talking to people and spreading the word. Like we already know what we're talking about, even though we don't have access to the program just yet. So helpful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else anyone's got to ask? Otherwise, I'll let Larissa wrap up whatever last nuggets you want to give us.
Any questions? No, we're good. Awesome. Good. I'm glad it was helpful. Honestly, my biggest thing is do not let your foot off the gas right now. Like the stuff you're doing right now, regardless of outcome, you guys, regardless of outcome, the things you're doing right now are what is going to make your 2022. 100%. So the things you're doing right now are working for January and February. Okay. And you will see outcome. You will. Don't have expectation of outcome. Okay. Set goals. Go after those goals. But don't you dare be disappointed if it doesn't meet your outcome, because what do we do when we get not met expectations and when we get disappointed? We just like, and like this is not foot on the gas energy. Like, so just focus. Your goal is to keep your foot on the gas. Your goal is to help people. Your goal is to be consistent. Your goal is to work for January, February right now. Okay. So that's, honestly, and this is perfect for that. Like utilize it. I've had launches. This is what I tell my team all the time. And I say it about everything. I say it about, Brittany talked about a flash sale, and things like that, right? The flash sale, the group is going to happen regardless, right? It is going to be awesome for some people's business and it's not going to be awesome for other people's business. But mainly the reason it won't be awesome for other people's business is because they probably expect the group to do the work for them, right? So what I'm saying is I've had flash sale groups that have skyrocketed my business and been super successful. And I've had ones that did absolutely nothing. The only difference was me. The only difference was my energy. And it's the same with launches. The launch is going to happen regardless. People are going to start job one regardless. You're going to do job one regardless, right? But what it does for your business depends on how much you lean into it and how much you go after it and all your energy. Just that's it.
I felt like this was like a full circle moment because all I can see right now after you said that was your slide that from the last time you spoke on our team call that said action over outcome, right?
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
And you guys, she said, put your foot on the gas. She didn't say, put your foot as hard as you freaking can down on the gas pedal and go 100 miles an hour on Thanksgiving weekend and screw your family. She didn't say that.
And you crash.
Right. Because we know like you're going too fast, right? She said, put your foot on the gas. That's very different than put your foot all the way down on the gas. So yes, this is a holiday weekend. Please, this is where organization is at its finest. This is where you owning an hour of your business day and saying, I got to step aside for a second and make up some crazy lie about how you have to go hide in the closet and go work your business for a second. Like this is where those pockets are crucial, but this is also where powering down is crucial. Work hard, play hard, right? That way you can do all of that. But she said on the gas, not all the way down on the gas, action over outcome. I love that.
Shannon, how much do I say action over outcome? Say it all the time. That's the biggest thing. Biggest thing. All right. Well, yay.